Hey guys, it's ban list time. Ban list got dropped last night, it seems. Um, that got dropped last week, it seems, or last night, it seems. Memento won, by the looks of it, the YCS Houston, which I've been an advocate for Memento since it released, really, like even before when it was crap. I still thought that, big Chungus with 5 monster negates was pretty neato. So then they released the ban list. Quickly run through what I have, I guess, predicted in the past. Bans, we'll go through the list real quick of what I roughly think will happen. But I'm thinking no direct Malice or Raziel hits. But I am expecting maybe a Decode Talker ban, probably a Shifter ban. I'm hoping not Bestials. I'm hoping they will get limited to 1. Because I think then they're just cool little hand traps rather than actually being like a full, dragon on dragon on dragon, and then a rank 6 and stuff like that, which no one really does, sure, but it's still like the options and whether or not stuff can be broken in the future, right? I'm thinking, I'm hoping for like a Griffin ban. I'm not expecting a Lancia ban because of like Malice, but I am expecting like a Droll ban, right? Because Droll's there. I'm expecting like maybe Exciton Knight and Dweller will probably rock up on the ban list as well. Probably banned as well, because you can't really go anywhere. You can't really limit it, otherwise it's just the same. It's the same thing. And I'm hoping for like a Caesar ban and a Moon of the Closed Heaven ban. Limits would be like I said, Bestials would ideally be limited. I'm expecting a Bonfire limit. I'm expecting what else would be limited? What else would be limited in my world? Like I said, I'm really hoping they don't hit any of the engines too hard. Like Malice and Raziel can go fuck themselves, but I think maybe like a limit to Primite Drill Beam. I think that card's probably a bit too strong. Probably because it resets itself every turn. Do you really need to play more than 3 or more than 1? So don't give people that option to be able to like place a broken card that fast or that often. Semi-limits don't really matter. I think semi-limits would be anything that came to 1 last time. And then unlims would be anything that came to 2 last time. So I think it's Eva, the 2 dangers, Monkey Board, I think came to 2 last time. Am I wrong in thinking that? But yeah, so unfortunately I'm not really seeing a hits to like Lancia. I wouldn't be surprised if Shifter stayed on as well at 3. Because they don't really have ever touched that. But yeah, Dweller and Exciton Knight, ideally Moon, Caesar. Limits to... I'd like semi-limits to, like... Not Gold Suck. Wait, what? What do you mean? I've just been sitting here. Hang on. I might have to cut this out. Alright, I'm going to have to cut that out, because that was just, they just said that my account was something suspicious. I've been sitting here just waiting to do this while eating breakfast. Thanks, Elon Musk, you freaking fruit. But yeah, anyway, let's just get into the list, because those are practically pretty much all I can think of. Oh, and then unlims, realistically, I think would be like, I think like limited to 1 coming off the ban list would be like Masterpiece, Electromite, that's all I can really think of. I don't think Snow could ever come off. I think Snow's just a bit too broken. Just constant material. If anything, that card needs to be probably like a Rada if they want to bring back. But I'm going to like scroll down 1. Ugh. Yeah. Yep, that's pretty much what was expected, almost to the letter. I don't really expect anything to come all the way off anymore. It only comes to 1. So I'm expecting the limited list to be quite big. I just forgot about Cyberjar. I don't even know what Cyberjar does. Yeah, there's nothing. I haven't like touched half these cards. I played the Dangers in Danger Dark World for that shit list if anyone watched it. But yeah, so we'll just move straight to this is where like stuff can kind of get crazy. Semi-limits shouldn't be crazy, but semi-limits are going the other way. Semi-limits from ban going upwards normally get pretty nuts, but semi-limits going from unlim down doesn't really do anything at all. This is actually... Ooh, alright, let's start from the top. So, Black Dragon Collapse Serpent is the Dragon Link card, right? The Dragon Link? He's the one that you, like, banish a light to summon him, and then when he goes to grave, you add a light, I think? So he's at 2 now. And then this is an issue, I think, right? Like, because we've got X and Ice here, and Sword. Okay, we've got X, Ice, and Sword all at 2 now, right? Now, this kind of comes down to my thought, like the other day when I was playing at a locals, I was playing Magic Spectre, and I Unicorn bounced a Lurry, right? And then he still went into a Moon at some point and went through his full combo, right? And that's the issue with, like, the hand, because it's 5 cards. So I guess realistically in this kind of scenario, if they normal ice you imperm, the chance of them having an extra or Sword to summon out afterwards much like lower, right? But the issue is that there's still 8 copies of these cards, right? Like you've still got 9 actually. Well, I don't know which one. Well, this one is, yeah, so X is a bonfire target. Then you've still got 3 7th Ascensions and then 2 of the card that searches 7th Tachyon, I think it is, that searches 7th Ascension. So realistically, this to me does fucking nothing. This does nothing. The Dormouse White Rabbit though, probably does a little bit more. Probably does a little more. Especially since White Rabbit is the normal and Dormouse is the draw. No, Dormouse is in the draw too. Dormouse is in the draw. I think these are both starters, with Dormouse not being as good as White Rabbit, I think. But at the same time, once again, depending on how the rest of this limited list goes. Man, I hope White Rabbit gets banned actually, but I'm not expecting it to. But then again, I wasn't expecting any of this to get hit. Morphing 2, Ash and Poplar. This is great because I just built a deck with this crap, and now I can add Ash and Poplar to it. Unchained Soul Survivor. Yeah, honestly, this could come back to 3, and no one would give a shit. The only person that would care would be Tony, because he loves Unchained. And then Malice and Underground, which is the field spell, which is like... Yeah, I guess not seeing any extra deck stuff here makes sense because there's no point to limiting. Like, what are you going to do? Semi-limit Trap Trick Sarah? It's like the only extra card I can think of that's played at 3. Honestly, I'm not going to be mad that they're hitting it, depending on what the rest of the list looks like. But to me, these two kind of, but not with the new support. When the new support comes out, I don't think Malice cares about these hits at all. And right now, I don't think Rise will give a crap about these effective from April 7th. Oh, this is immediately... Oh, why are they doing this? I wanted to play that deck. I played 3 Bonfire. It's playing 3 Bonfire. I'm going to talk to people and see if they want to play it. Screw it. I'll get on 1 Bonfire. But this isn't too bad. And then White Dragon Wyvern Buster, which is the light version of this thing, if I remember correctly. So, Dragon Link with no bones. Unless they bring Chaos... I want to say Serpent, but it's not. Ooh, if they bring back Chaos, the big Synchro 8 that mills 4 or whatever, or mills 3 and then summons a light or dark, that actually might be an issue with these things coming back. But no, the Chaos, the spell card that lets you draw one, you like add a light, you like dump a light, add a dark, or dump a dark, add a light, and then when you can, when it gets banished, you can banish it to put one back and draw one. Like, if that gets well, it's not semi-limited. Okay, so no, it's not coming back. I'm already looking at the semi-limited list. This is... I'm just talking shit now. But maybe Chaos... What's his name? I don't even know his name. Anyway, the Synchro 8 that mills. If he comes back to 1... Oh! Drew 21, shifted to 1. Okay, yeah, Drill's to 1, we're still to 1, which makes me think they're going to ban Magnamut, just to hit that properly. D shifted to 1, probably like long time coming. Only issue with Shifter being at 1 is, man, it's going to feel way worse when you get shifted. When you're playing against a deck that plays Shifter, you're going to feel so much worse when Shifter drops. But yep, there's Masterpiece. I was kind of expecting that, because he's not going to do anything. Mass Effect Circular. Yeah, I guess, like, I didn't know Mass Mech better. I know Mass Mech Circular was kind of crazy. Detonator to 1, that's great. That's great, which means they have to live and die on Eclipse Twins, which probably isn't getting banned, which means I was wrong. But Bonfire 1, expected that. And then I wasn't expecting the Crossout Designator 1. Like, this only matters because the engines are too small, right? Like, if you have a bigger engine and you could only fit, like, 9 non-engine, you're not playing Crossout Designator because you're wasting space, realistically, right? Like, and you've got such extension through things that it shouldn't really matter if you get hand trapped because you can keep going. The issue with Crossout Designator is that because the engine's so small, you can play so many hand traps, because you play Crossout Designator on top of like 15 hand traps. And then in the mirror, it means you can stop their engine pieces, right? Like that's the big issue with Crossout Designator. But if the engines were bigger, you wouldn't be able to fit Crossout Designator, and it would become like non-engine for you. Like if you're like in a tier 0 format, you're like, I've got 9 slots. I'm putting in 3 Crossout Designator for going first, just so I can stop their Ash or some crap like that. But the engines need to be bigger. And then talents, honestly, talents should be banned. This is going to feel so much worse now, but this means that Jacob's never going to draw it on me again, hopefully. That fucker has it every hand. Every hand he has it. This, I don't like Triple Tactics talent because it punishes you for interacting with your opponent, right? If they do something and I Ash Blossom them, because that's the right thing to do, and they drop talents and rip a card from my hand or draw 2, I have now been punished for playing the game. Because it's not a mistake. You didn't not sequence properly. You didn't not deck build properly. You didn't like waste your interaction too early or anything like that and do that kind of stuff. It's like monster effects are the primo way, they're the prime way of interacting with your opponent. And that means, and with talents and like thrust running around, it means you get punished for playing the game, pretty much. So I reckon this should just be banned all up. I don't think Crossout Designator should have been there. And Brilliant Fusion to 1, was it banned? Was it banned? I wish I could click on them and see it, but I don't know. Now banned. This is the list of like changes formats. Bahamut. Alright, so I was right. I got Griffin, Link Dakota, Abyss Dweller. This is a small forbidden list, so I don't think this is good enough. But I guess with everything else it's fine, right? Like but Nightmare Griffin, Link Dakota, Abyss Dweller. So what are we saying? So Link Dakota and then like Druid's Worm to 1, they just play more Bold Drakes and probably Saronir, even though Saronir does nothing. But you play more Bold Drakes. Nightmare Griffin stops their end board. But can they even get to it without Link Decoder? Because Link Decoder was such a free material. But I guess they still got Dotscaper. Realistically, it just means that Malice goes back to Terahertz. Dweller, it was expecting that to be gone. And then Bahamut Shark being banned means that, I would argue, it means that most likely the Shark version of Rigel goes away. Which was 2 cards. It was 2 cards, realistically. And then that means they free up their extra deck a bit more. But no Fiendspiff hits at all. Moon still, that engine is still just as strong as it was going in. Which, you know what this means? Regardless of this, of how many cards this is, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17... 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 30 cards have just been moved around on the ban list, and our format doesn't change. Format doesn't change. Maybe people mess with Snake Eye more. They try to bring back Snake Eye, see if they can make that a bit more consistent, because those end boards are kind of crazy. But at the same time, we're still missing OSS, so Snake Eye's still off the board because it just loses that much power. So it's still going to be Malice, it's still going to be Rigel. Blue Eyes didn't get touched. Just get ready for Terahertz and find ways to banish Detonator so you don't set off Eclipse Twins, and that's about it really. That's probably all you have to really worry about with this entire list. If you're a rogue dude, then maybe you like that Mathmech's coming back to this, or Brilliant Fusion. Any deck that can play Shifter, who cares? None of it. Maybe if you're a dragon ruler or a Unchained player, maybe this is kind of neato. Yeah, bit of a wait for. I would say nothing. People are gonna say this is a great ban list because there's so many cards on it. Josh Schmidt's gonna be pissed off about that circular though. Maybe this does something, but it won't. It won't because it's just not gonna do anything. I think it's already part of a crap deck. Yeah. Cool. Step in the right direction. I'm not a big fan of having to take 2 ban lists to get anywhere. Because the issue that I'm having with this is that we get a decent set around the time of our next ban list, I think. Which is the stuff with like Canine and Yummy and stuff in it. And this stuff better not be this strong, because those decks can't survive this format, I don't think. From what I've seen, you can stand there and say, oh, but you can do this. We need to talk consistent hands, right? Like, how often can Canine, Yummy, Dragon Tail pull off what it's doing? How consistently? Because these decks are already quite consistent with what they've got. And other than, I think Canine can use 7th Tachyon and stuff like that, and 7th Ascension. But yeah, I would argue that the format hasn't changed. This is just, it's the same thing. We're still here, doing it, and at worst I see more Snake Eye crap, which I'm doing. I'm putting something together for Snake Eye, but we'll see if it does anything, especially now that Bonfire's gone to 1. But with, I guess with Ash and Poplar 2, it's probably not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, cool ban list, man. There's some cool stuff on there, I'll say that. I will say there's some cool stuff on there. It's just not as format warping, which is fine, I guess. Like we're talking, I guess realistically, the point for this, it's weird in my mind, because like we look at stuff like Nightmare Griffin, Dweller, even like Bahamut, and like Shifter, Detonator, like they're hits to end boards kind of thing. They're hits to the unplayability of the game, right? Like if you get shifted in a deck, chances are you're probably not playing because they put the shifter in for a reason, right? But then banning cards, like limiting cards like Crossout Designator and Bonfire means that you're also getting rid of the playability on the other end too. Like the decks that can use this have now been hit, right? So their end boards suck and they don't have as much way to stop your opponent from playing. But now you're stopping the decks from playing as well. Like you're increasing the chances for an Imperm to just end Ryziel, or to end White Rabbit, or anything like that, right? Like it's a weird way to go about it, I think, where you're like, cool, we've opened up the field of play and expansion with like low floodgates and no cards that just kind of lock you out of the game. But then by dropping consistency, you're stopping the decks from playing as well, right? Because the chances are, I mean, like I said, 7th Tachyon and 7th Ascension aside, you're doing consistency hits, which means you want these decks to play less. But you've also done it in the wake of making it so then, you know, other decks can play more, I guess? I don't know. But anyway, we'll leave it there. It was fine. It was fine. Hopefully it changes the format. I don't think it will. It'll be the next list that does, because that's when we get all that new crap. Because unfortunately, we've seen this a million times, right? And I don't think it's ever going to change, where when a new deck build stuff comes out that's actually decently good, and they want to start moving boxes, they'll ban the old stuff. They'll make the old stuff unplayable so the new stuff gets to be bought. We'll never be in formats where we have nice crossovers of older decks with newer decks, unless they bring out random broken support that just kind of shits on stuff like the Mermail stuff, which is like, oh, he's a rip for 4 or whatever. Like, cool way to go about it, I guess. But yeah, anyway, we'll stop it there, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.